Yes, I can see actually. What about others? I think the others can see as well if I can see.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we
yes.
see.
Yes, we
Yeah, no
can.
problems. We can.
Thank you. In this presentation, I want to talk about Chrysler shutdown. And first, I want to provide some insight into the past in order to provide analysis for what Chrysler is going to face in the new crisis of 2020 due to pandemic. So let's start with the background. Um, I want to talk about the crisis of 2008, and during this year, the situation was very harsh for all of the big three car automakers in the US. For example, for Chrysler, at December 10, 2008, Chrysler announced all shutdown of its 30 car plants in the Canada and US, and the situation was very harsh. For example, General Motors decided that 30% of its plant capacity would be idle during the first quarter of 2009. And the decision pretty much cost General Motors a loss of potential sale of 250,000 vehicles. For Ford, they decided to increase their shutdown for extra 2 weeks. And for Chrysler, they have lost 47% sales in the December 2008. For example, in this slide, I decided to provide a figure from official site of Chrysler, and then there we can see that the sales for November 2008 are only 52 point something percent of the sales of preceding year, November 2007, and overall in U.S. sales of U.S. auto car makers have dropped to 7% comparing with the last year. Because of the problem connected not with the vehicles itself, but the official reason to blame being that continual lack of credit of consumers toward car purchasing, basically consumers not being able to purchase cars right away, the company decided to shut down. And how this shutdown would help Chrysler? First of all, let's discuss what is temporary shutdown. Temporary shutdown occurs when the total revenue, in this case, the sales of cars, is less than variable costs, which are not fixed but can be deducted, can be deduced through the shutdown. And shortly, temporary shutdown is done to prevent further spending company's expenses. But the question is, how by staying idle, Chrysler could make profit? Uh, the answer is that the Chrysler could make profit by selling all the cars it already had in their warehouses, ready for sale, and not producing anything else. And but the profit would be maximized under one condition: they can be their average variable cost has to be reduced, and the average variable cost is reduced in three ways: by reaching the power to that is necessary for all the plants, to reduce the salary for all the 46,000 workers that were working in Chrysler plants, and to reduce the supply, to reduce the payments to suppliers for auto car parts necessary for production. Because Chrysler did not produce anything during this period, Chrysler, with the estimation of quarterly payment for suppliers being $8 billion, the extra 2 weeks of shutdown could actually provide Chrysler with the extra $1.3 billion. And also they decided to cut the salaries for 46,000 workers, as Chrysler spokesman said in December 2009, the workers will not receive their full salaries, unfortunately. They will receive only the combinations of federal unemployment benefits and the insurance policies from company, but they will not receive full salary. And also they would reduce the power for plants. But the fixed costs still remain because the financial department and the security department of plants still remain functional. They would have to deal with the maintenance expense for all the plants and the extra costs related to security and rents for plants maybe, and so on. So in this case, Chrysler was in desperate need for additional investors because Of course, 400,000 vehicles that were in warehouses would not save the company from staying uh, afloat and falling into the credits. So there was one investor for Chrysler, and it was government. Um, let's discuss the process of bailout. The process of bailout can be described by Treasury Department actually nationalizing the companies by receiving stock ownership for lending money. And Treasury Department in the past already has done it with the Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, American International Group, and so it wasn't difficult for them to nationalize the Ford, Chrysler, and General Motors. Uh, so, first of all, in November 18, 2008, there was initial request by General Motors and Chrysler to request for $25 billion bailout, and it was denied. It was denied because many of the people did not actually believe that these companies were in financial danger. And the fact that the CEOs of companies flew to Washington in their own corporate jets did not help to increase public opinion of these companies. And also the second reason was because the federal department, Treasury Department, already has lent the money to other companies that were in danger. So they had a lack of financial resources. But after 15 days, on December 3rd, 2008, General Motors and Chrysler had gone to Washington the second time to request a bigger sum of $34 billion. And Chrysler's weight of the loan was 20% or $7 billion. And only after 16 days, on December 19th, Bush agreed to a $25 billion bailout. And the percentages of three companies were practically the same. Chrysler remained at 22% of the loan, or $5.5 billion. And the only company that did not actually need this bailout was Ford. Ford had already cut cost of its production and remained afloat during the financial crisis, but they decided to not to deny the government bailout because they would have to compete with the companies that already had received government subsidies. And in order to compete with Chrysler and General Motors, they also needed some money from government. So there are three companies that need a bailout and receive funds. From history of Chrysler during the January and February of 2009 requested for $6 billion loan from Energy Department. The case was that Chrysler actually offered their competitors, General Motors and Ford, to cooperate in order to create a new industry, a new generation of energy efficient vehicles from US. But the offer was, of course, denied because all of the companies were already in trouble and they didn't want to cooperate in the project that were uncertain. So the loan was denied and cooperation was also denied. And because of that, on April 30th, 2009, Chrysler entered bankruptcy. And only then Treasury Department agreed to lend $6 billion, but under one condition. And this condition will be learned in the next slide. On the May 2011, Chrysler repaid most of its $12.5 billion loan 6 years ahead of schedule. And in 2013, Chrysler goes public on New York Stock Exchange. What were the consequences of this bailout, this 6-year bailout? First of all, taxpayers, which are the main source of subsidies, lost $11.2 billion of $81 billion bailout program. Chrysler alone is responsible for $1.3 billion loss. Despite Chrysler repaying the loan 6 years ahead of schedule, they were paying only the main part of the loan, not all the loan, because they were ahead of schedule. And also, Chrysler became a brand of Fiat. As I was saying, the one condition under which the loan would be given to Chrysler on April 30th, 2009 was that Chrysler was forced to merge with Fiat, which on June 2009 had acquired 58.5% of the company, controlling the share of the company. And the decision for Chrysler to go public on New York Stock Exchange was also the decision Fiat CEO in order to purchase all the remaining company shares and own the Chrysler company. And this merging of Chrysler with Fiat had effectively created one of the six biggest car automakers in the world nowadays. General Motors has split into two companies. They had General Motors Acceptance Corporation that was actually in part ownership of General Motors previous owner, Cerberus. 51.5% has already been owned by Cerberus, and during the financial crisis, GMAC now became Ally Financial, and General Motors has lost its Acceptance Corporation. And also, there were new auto efficiency standards introduced by Obama administration that improved quality of air of U.S. automobiles and helped them to compete with Japanese and European companies. And the last consequence is that it helped to create additional 341,000 jobs in comparison with almost 1 million jobs that had the potential, that had the risk of loss during the financial crisis by General Motors and Chrysler. What is the current situation nowadays? Well, current situation is that on March 18th, Fiat Chrysler automobiles company began shutting down plants on March 18th, and on April 6, 2020, Fiat Chrysler extends manufacturing shutdown till May 4th. But the total reopening date remains unknown because the health and well-being of their employees is a priority, and they did not actually discuss the restart plan yet. But even if the restart will be successful, it is still longer. The period from May 4th to March 18th is still longer than 40-day national strike last fall. It cost Chrysler's rival General Motors $3.6 billion in production. And we cannot know for sure if the Chrysler will be able to restart its operations on March 4th or on May 4th, and how it will affect the Chrysler situation, even if the Chrysler's rival General Motors has lost too much during just the national strike. And this is a different situation, this is pandemic. And we don't know the effects of Chrysler's production. Will it be able to restart on May 4th, or maybe it will require more than just 1 month? And will Chrysler will be able to stand against the crisis as it did in 2008? Will the government help Chrysler to restart its operations? And that's all I wanted to tell. Thank you for attention.
Okay, thank you so much, Alibek. It was a very fruitful presentation and very understandable. It's good that you related to the topic. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, who is next?
We can present next.
Yes, please go. Just mention the names so that I can see them.
Arujan,
Uh-huh.
Vikero, and Aidana, Artur, and Ursula.
Wait, how many you
It
are?
will be on the presentation.
Oh, okay, in the names in the presentation. Okay, just type.
Yes, yes. So, good afternoon, guys. My name is Arujan, and today our topic is coronavirus shuts down Ferrari and Lamborghini plans. No.
Can you just show me again the names, please?
Oh, okay.
Back. And Ursula, yes, okay. Thank you. And please be short. Consider like
yeah,
5-7 minutes. Okay.
Not that long. Yeah, fine.
Okay.
So our presentation today is about Ferrari and Lambo and how they're dealing with the coronavirus shutdown. So they shut down production of their plants in Italy due to the COVID. And the Ferrari shares have declined 18% over 1 month of the pandemic. Formula One Grand Prix Australia was cancelled, and but at the same time, Ferrari still operate non-manufacturing activities such as design, engineering, and other activities. Ferrari still pays their workers their full pay, full wage during the shutdown. So that's kind of the situation that's happening because of the coronavirus. Ferrari and Lamborghini, the luxury car maker owned by Volkswagen, both closed down their factories in Italy over the weekend. Ferrari said it was experiencing supply line issues. Lamborghini's chief executive said in a statement that shuttering his plant was an act of social responsibility. And Ferrari said its non-manufacturing activities such as product design and engineering, as it was mentioned, will continue to operate with employees working from home. All of Ferrari's employees, including factory workers, will receive full pay. Next slide. Okay, so how shutdown due to the COVID-19 will affect Ferrari and other businesses? Ferrari aimed to provide sidetrack from crisis. They announced healthcare plan for employees and their families, such as voluntary scanning, and their focus is towards manufacturing medical aids for the people who suffered from the coronavirus in Italy. People's purchasing power due to the pandemic decreased, which is why demand for such supercars like Ferrari, Lambo, and other luxury cars had fallen. But at the same time, in some parts of Asian countries, the demand for Lamborghini cars had risen, but at the same time, they can't meet the increased demand because of less production in China and other countries. Okay, next slide. How governments aid coronavirus to struggling businesses. So there are some different ways how the government tries to help the businesses. It's financial help, administrative help. Also, government gives out loans at less interest, and it either reduces taxes or gives tax vacation. And these are kind of the ways that the government helps businesses. And how COVID affects companies other than Ferrari. Now, during this time, after the crisis, tech giants such as Amazon, Google, even Zoom will come out a lot stronger because everyone right now relies on the internet to work and study. And also, medical product companies are in very high demand right now, which results in very high profits as well. And the ones that will be most negatively affected by the COVID are small businesses, which they will be affected the worst because they won't be able to pay the workers' wages during the shutdown, and the taxes and other expenses such as rent, and at the same time they're getting absolutely no profit because most of the businesses can't even work from distance, which is why they will have to cut staff short term and leave the market in the long run. So this was our presentation on the topic of how coronavirus affects different businesses, including Ferrari and Lamborghini. Thank you.
May we present next?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, guys, you can go, sure.
Yes, just a minute.
Yeah, just a second.
Just mention the names before you start.
Sabina, Alim, Jaeyong Lee, and Janelle. So you can see on PPT.
Okay, that's great. Just go with the PPT then. Jeon Lee, Sabina, Alim, and Janelle.
Hello, can you see it?
Yes, I can see it easily. Just make it bigger.
How? It's already big.
Okay. No. Go for PPT bigger.
Yes, it's on F5.
Okay,
Right.
then go with it. Go with it.
So hello, my name is Magomadov Alim, and our group has Jaeling Lee, Sabina Artagalieva, and Janelle Utelbaeva. So we chose the article that the car sharing platform ShareNow exit the US market. So ShareNow is a German car sharing company formed from the merger of Car2Go and DriveNow, established by BMW and Daimler. BMW and Daimler launched this platform service in March 2018. After success in Europe, they have penetrated the US market to compete in the global mobility platform market. But they decided to exit the US market on 29 February 2020 because of much losses. They mentioned that there are two reasons why they are exiting the US market. The first is changeable state of the global mobility landscape. The second is the rising infrastructure complexities facing North America transportation today and the associated costs needed to sustain operation in US. Consequently, they have realized that they were not in position to make the US market successful both in near and long term. There are 236 car-share operators in 3,128 cities worldwide, which means it is a very competitive market. Many companies are jumping into a mobility service platform market. The analysts say that they cannot sustain the business in the US market because of the cost running businesses in the US market, and they are not competitive enough in the US market.
Alim, does your slides move? Your slides, I think they are not moving.
Yes, they're moving.
But you know,
You can see it.
what about others? Can they see that your slides are moving? Yes, now can move. Yeah, they are moving.
Yes, we can see.
Oh. Can you see now?
Yes, better. It's better like this.
Oh, should I?
No,
again?
don't. No need to go repeat, but just.
Oh, okay. So here is slides.
Where you were, and go with that.
Okay, so that's all our group has to present.
So how do you connect these things with the chapters that happen in US?
Can you repeat?
How can you connect to the chapters, like with the cost of production or with a competitive market? How is it connected? So what was you find it out in here, in this news?
I'm sorry, can I add?
Yes, you can. Anyone can answer in the group.
As he said, the ShareNow is car sharing mobility service, but nowadays there are so many companies that provide this kind of service. So this car sharing service market is very competitive now, and yes, so it is related to chapter 14. So
it's to the competitive market in this. So there are many sellers, we can say, of their services. Yes.
Yes.
Very good, Jayo. Thank you. Okay, thank you, guys. It was brief and clear.
Sorry, can we start?
Okay, go ahead.
It's
Good.
Maria Arzu Akirkin Darujan.
Okay, go ahead.
Just in a second, Arzu will share the screen.
Yes.
Just in case we have a small like a line thing in the chat.
Okay, no problem.
It's okay?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So hello everybody. Our theme is competitive firms and especially restaurant business and delivery firms. Our names here on the board. Okay.
Okay, I can see it. Go ahead.
So first of all, let's discuss what competitive firms mean. A competitive firm means the firms in the competitive market who has no control in changing the market supply and demand. They are price takers of the market and they are small as compared to the whole market. So today's situation with COVID-19 is directly connected with the competitiveness of the firms. For example, in food sphere, in restaurant business. Some big and popular restaurants even started to provide delivery service and the competitiveness between them increased at times. And those who serving food which cannot be delivered left with nothing, of course, unfortunately. So here you can see some restaurants such as Mamma Mia, Svet, or Del Papa, who started to provide delivery after the COVID-19. So, according to it, the only sphere which is not suffered from quarantine is delivery itself. And all restaurants collaborate with the most popular delivery firms such as Glovo or Yandex Food. There is also extremely big competitive atmosphere between these two. They try to make different offers or sales in order to attract people's attention. But as we know, Glovo comes forward. And we want to tell you in details about Glovo. So according to co-founder Sasha Mashut, his interview, he said that as more people are self-isolated due to the current pandemic, home deliveries are on the rise. And for those countries hit the hardest by the COVID-19 virus, there has been a huge uptake in demand for their services, he said. They have seen an increase in categories such as also pharmacy and groceries, not only food. And during this difficult period, it's vital that every single person has access to food and medicine. That's why in Spain, they have removed the delivery fee for pharmaceutical orders. But what is very strange, they also saw a decrease in orders globally in the wake of the outbreak. In some key markets, such as in Spain and Italy, they saw an estimated 50% drop in orders as most of their partners, 19% of which are independent restaurants and businesses, they went offline. Also, Global Delivery is the first firm which implemented no contact delivery. It means that he said that from a business perspective, in the wake of this pandemic, they had to move very quickly to adapt their operations, and the safety of their couriers and customers will always be their top priority. And there were many changes they needed to make to keep people safe. So they were one of the first delivery companies to implement no contact drop-offs, which allows their customers to choose where they'd like couriers to leave their orders. And this helps limit the direct contact between both parties, ensuring safer delivery. So also, while the difficulties in obtaining personal protective equipment have been well documented in the media, they recognize their couriers are on the front line of this crisis and that they need to protect them. So far, they have provided around 133,000 masks, 71,000 pairs of gloves, and 2,500 liters of hand sanitizer gel worldwide to their couriers. So that's why global delivery is like on the top of the delivery firms. That's all. Thank you for
Okay.
your attention.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your presentation. And it was very nice that you took the market of Kazakhstan. It's very interesting for me as well. And I hope for the others as well. Thank you for your contribution. Okay, who is next?
Thank you. We're next. Amir?
Amir, Yasmin, and Abzal. And yes?
Yeah, and Sanjar.
Sanjar.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm gonna present our small project,
Okay.
and we took the Disney case. As it is a very big company, like most of us
Can
know.
you see the presentation?
Yes, I can see it, but make it bigger to like for presentation.
Sorry, it's my first time how to use.
Okay,
F5
just
нажми, брат.
F5, yes.
So yeah.
It's okay now.
Yeah, great,
Our
great.
presentation is like really short, and we're not gonna talk much, and like it's not 40, and probably.
I don't want long discussions, but I want brief but very clear one.
Okay, so next slide then. Well, you already heard that coronavirus is affecting a lot of industries in the different ways: unemployment, company bankruptcy, and economic damages. So Disney also got involved in it all. And next slide. So basically, as we found in the news, Disney stopped paying salaries to 100,000 of workers of them and sent them to the unpaid leave. They were left without the salary. So basically, Disney is eliminating the explicit costs, as we got from the 13th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. And they're trying to minimize the cost of production right now, as they shut down their parks and cruise lines and all the stores around the world, which are like about 300 or something. They're trying to keep up right now. And sending employees to the unpaid leave is basically a good decision for them. Next slide. Basically, Disney is saving about $500 million due the unpaid leave. And right now, if we look at their like other products, they're still having the streaming service, which is like 50 million or something like this users. And it took Netflix about 10 years to hit this benchmark, and Disney is really successful right now in there. So they still have some revenue, but however, their variable costs right now is like are like increasing. So they're trying to minimize it all to keep the total revenue higher. So yeah, that's probably it.
Okay, thank you so much. It was very clear and you touched the good aspects. Thank you so much, guys. You contributed good one. Okay, who is next?
I'm sorry,
It's me.
we're not next in line, but we also have Disney. So is it okay if we will go next?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
I hope it's not the same slides.
No. It's different. A second.
We have here Islam.
Can you see it?
Okay, they can go first then.
Nurgisa.
Do you see that?
I can see it, but make it
Bigger.
yeah. Here you
It's
go.
okay?
Yeah, now it's good.
Yeah, okay, let's start. Hello, teacher. Hello, my classmates. I hope you are staying home and you're okay. So
Yes,
let's start with news related to minimizing cost. And here is the name of my group mates. And let's briefly overview the topest news. So the first, maybe I think perhaps you have already heard about the news about price of the oil. So today's morning, price of the crude oil is increasing now. So let's see. Price of the American oil has increased today's morning from negative point to approximately $0 per barrel. On Monday evening, it's yesterday, price of the oil of WTI American Brent was about $40 per barrel. It's the
Minus
lowest
40.
minus, yes, it's negative.
Mhm.
It's the lowest price since ever. It reached absolute anti-record. The demand of the oil decreased because of coronavirus pandemic. Many countries closed the barriers and stopped business. I took that information from New York Times website. So let's see. Previous group already mentioned that news, but let's also overview that news again. Disney stopped paying 100,000 workers during a downturn. So Disney main operating income of 1.4 billion for its parks, experience and products in the last 3 months of 2019. Also, stopping pay for almost half of its workforce will save Disney up to $500 million. It's approximately 400 million pounds a month, according to the Financial Times. Okay, and the last news, it's about KSA, dollar, tenge, and their situation in our country. The dollar has risen in price on KSA. It's our index, Kazakhstan index. So following the result of the morning session on April 21st, American currency sold at KSA at 430 approximately KZ, like tenge. At previous auctions on April 20th, it was worth 427 approximately tenge. Thus the dollar rose in price by approximately 2.79 tenge, like percent tenge on the exchange. So here is the links, and that's the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Who is next?
Me.
Rufina?
One second.
Okay.
Mhm.
You have in your group Rufina, Alina, Amina.
Asema, Jenny, and
Asema.
Amina. It was hard to find a lot of information about companies. That is why I decided to make general presentation to get know what is happening now in the economic world. And also I'll talk about problems in Disney company. Many specialists say that now the world faces a worse recession since the Great Depression. So what does recession mean? A recession is a significant decline in economic activity lasting more than a few months. As you may see in the picture, the unemployment rate rises, consumer purchases fall off, and people lose their homes. Also, there's a drop in the following 5 economic indicators: real GDP, income, employment, manufacturing, and retail sales. So what happened in 2020? Global shares take a hit. People began to sell their shares back to companies, or they are buying shares for a low price. As you may see in the picture, the biggest worldwide companies on average lose 25% of their shares, and investors are scared to buy shares. Some countries decrease interest rates to increase purchasing power. So, slowdown in Chinese factories. Manufacturing power in China was slowed down from December till March. Chinese GDP decreased. Also, more than 100 countries have travel restrictions. A lot of countries who make huge amounts of money on traveling will lose their money. For example, due to coronavirus, people are not permitted to visit Arab Emirates on spring break. So just imagine how many money touristic countries are losing every day. Also, one of the main problems now is unemployment. As you may see in the picture, in the US, unemployment increased to 6.6 million people. So in the reason of unemployment and problems with import and export, production cost, wages, and GDP decreased. I would like to share with news about Disney World Company. Disney entertainment parks and hotels were closed due to coronavirus, and Disney pays employees their salaries, which they while they stay at home. 9 days before, Walt Disney Company said that they will fire 43,000 employees. Disney decided to stop paying 100,000 workers to save $500 million monthly. In addition, Disney stocks decreased for 4.9%. And it's all.
Okay, thank you so much for your contribution. And guys, please do not forget to submit the homework, like 3 tasks you were given. Send it to the WhatsApp group. Okay, who's next?
We are next. It's Demiris, Maria, oh, sorry, Medina. It's Medina, Demiris, and
Raushan.
Raushan, yes, sorry. Okay, I will start the demonstration right now. So we decided to choose a topic about Walt Disney Park, and we all know this park. So how the coronavirus pandemic is impacting the Disney World. The companies most exposed to the threat are those that generate significant shares of their revenues from theme parks, the box office, or advertising, all of which could be threatened by the coronavirus outbreak or broader economic downturn. Disney's new CEO, Bob Chapek, is being tested as a leader. The media giant has been forced to temporarily shutter its park globally. UBS estimated Disney could lose more than $2 billion in revenue if its park closed for 30 days. If Disney hadn't taken the rare step of closing its parks, the media giant's image may have suffered more. As it was, Abigail Disney, whose grandfather was Disney co-founder Roy O. Disney and grand-uncle was Walt Disney, slammed the company on Twitter on Monday in response to photos that seemingly showed large crowds at Disney World's Magic Kingdom on Sunday night before the park closed because of the coronavirus concerns. Beyond parks, Disney has started pushing theatrical releases and TV and film productions as other studios take similar steps. Walt Disney World in Florida plans to furlough about 43,000 workers after it closed last month because of the coronavirus pandemic, the company and the union coalition representing the workers said. In mid-March, Disney theme parks worldwide closed, including Disney World in Florida and Disneyland Resort in California. As the employees will be immediately eligible to enroll in state unemployment benefits. The company has agreed to provide members who have health care benefits with free health care for a year. About 200 employees who are considered essential workers will remain on the job, including those in housekeeping, custodial, and lake patrol positions. And here's our reference. That was all. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you so much, guys, for your effort that you have put it. Okay, please, next. Who's next?
Can we be next?
Yes, doesn't matter, go ahead. Who is this?
Inur, Nurbike, Asel, and Alibek.
Asel Aron, yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
Должен выключить свою демонстрацию экрана, кто последний.
Please, who sharing the last people? Tamiris, Raushan, Madina, please off your screen sharing.
Okay.
Вы выключите?
No effect, no effect. Выключите его.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to turn it off. Can you help me, please?
Там наверху красная кнопка есть. Выключить. Остановить.
Завершить демонстрацию, по-моему.
Просто берешь и закрываешь.
Okay, guys, go ahead.
So
We can't turn the presentation yet so far.
Oh, okay, I see. Who is going to present it? Tell me, I will ask it to turn it on. You'll receive a request.
Oh, Inur, Nurbike.
No, who is going to
Nurbike,
present?
sorry.
Nurbike.
Yeah, sorry.
Where is Nurbike? One second. Okay, here you go. So this is the screen that I can see. Who is sharing this?
Which screen?
Okay, no screen now.
Okay. Do you see my screen?
It's on the way to share now. I can see it. Yes.
Okay. So we decided to choose 4 companies, the biggest companies, which has a big damage of COVID-19. Okay.
So yes,
So it's
it was
Disney, Nike, Apple, and Tesla. Okay, you can start. Sorry.
Okay, so it was a little bit hard for us to choose only one company to discuss. So we are going to discuss briefly 4 major and the biggest companies of the world. So as you can see by the outline, we have chosen Disney, Nike, Apple, and Tesla. So let's move to the next slide. So coronavirus pandemic is making hard to predict Disney's future performance. So now Disney stops paying 100 workers to save 500 million a month. Also, Disney allows 100 theme parks and hotel workers amid coronavirus shutdown. And which is the most important part of Disney is that shares of Disney are down around 37% since January, falling below 100 per share for the first time since October 2017. So if we mention a major fall of shares of the Disney company, it is important to highlight that Disney have been facing problems since December 2019, as you can see, because they have faced 48 billion of debt outstanding and around 6.8 billion of cash.
Excuse me, can I ask you to skip the Disney because it's the 3rd time I'm hearing about the Disney? Can you just move to Tesla and other companies? Thank you so much.
Okay. So now we are shifting to the Nike Incorporation. На 6-й слайд.
Я его поставила.
Something with
Он
my-
стоит.
Okay, so as you can see, all stores in the United States, Canada, Western Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea, Japan, and most stores of China are being closed nowadays. Nike shares gave up as much as 40% during the COVID-19 related sell-off that began on February 24th. But nowadays, Nike Corporation is going to open 80% of stores in China, as we can see that the pandemic there has largely passed. And also, now you can see the quote of Nike Incorporation founder, who said that in the short term, we expect the situation to have a material impact on our operations in Greater China. As we can see, a huge amount of stores are being closed nowadays around the world. That is why Nike is losing a significant amount of revenue, which Nike was supposed to collect during the upcoming and 2020s years. But nowadays, they're trying to fix the current situation of their financial position in order to maybe provide people and customers with online trainings for which we can pay. That is why this is one possible way to face the current situation and fix outstanding debts. So now
Okay, let me tell you about Apple problems after COVID-19 appearance. The company is very vulnerable to the market situation. Apple has their factories, like 26 suppliers and 4 large corporate customers. Factories producing iPhones and other devices were forced to be closed for like several weeks because of the pandemic, in order to not to spread the virus. Further actions reduced the availability of Apple devices around the world this year. And CEO Tim Cook said that outbreak caused Apple to expand its profits margins in the second quarter from 26 billion to 67 billion. From competitive market side, the threat did not change the demand of Apple production, but the cost of the damage was too big. Therefore, the investors will wait a lot of days or months to see the latest product's profits. And the quote of the Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, that is always how Apple has chosen to meet big challenges, and it's how we will raise to meet this one too. And next company is Tesla. The CEO of Tesla, Elon Musk, on January 7 announced that first deliveries of Model 3 will be from Shanghai, from China. And a month later, the head of the company announced that deliveries could be delayed because of the virus, as government orders force the plant to remain closed until the epidemic will decline. It was planned that new production in China will occupy a significant market share, but it didn't because of the virus. But investors will probably have to wait longer for their investments to pay off, since the epidemic was holding back new car production and therefore supply. Coronavirus may adversely affect companies' profits in the future, that Elon Musk says. And from competitive market side, Tesla company always will be the first brand of electric cars, but this pandemic affected on its production cost. Okay, so that was our presentation.
Okay, thank you so much. It was a very good presentation. Thank you for contributions. Okay, please, who is the next? There is a silence.
Professor,
Yes.
we have a presentation, but we also have a little problem.
Yes, what is that problem?
So we're using our phones and we can't share the screen. So I sent our presentation to your email. So can you please open it for us?
You're forcing me to work for you.
What?
You're forcing me to work for you. I'm joking. It's a joke. Don't worry. I'll open it. Okay? Like, you will have to pay for it, a salary that I'm going to do you.
That was a good one.
Yeah, they are.
You know, this pandemic is affected everyone financially, so there should be an opportunity
Now you're working for it since.
to work with it. So now I'm gonna share the screen. Okay. But
Okay.
where is the member? So who is the member?
It's only two of us, Camila and me.
Camila and you. You are I. Yes, Raila.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, can we start?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so our presentation is about India and the current situation of Indian exports. As everyone were mentioning here, the global spread of COVID-19 has got all activities in all major economies to stop. And World Trade Organization has forecast global trade volumes to drop sharply by 13.32%, which has not been seen before in the modern era. Companies dependent on foreign trade are especially vulnerable in these times. For example, India's biggest export markets like US, EU have extended lockdowns and already been between April 19 and February 20. For the period before the lockdown, India's merchandise exports declined by 1.5% over the same period last year, while imports declined by 7.3% to $436 billion. And as the world battles COVID-19, they must take care to sustain their export markets and ensure that lockdown does not translate into loss of outward bound goods. And most nations are proactively supporting their exporters during these difficult times. For example, China increased export refund facility by 2% recently, and such moves make Indian goods less competitive in global markets and must be compensated through an additional duty drawback of at least 3% for the next 6 months to prevent mass closure of enterprises. And another challenge for exporters due to the current lockdown measures is delays in clearances of import containers, which attract increase in the demurrage and container freight station charges. And such charges should be waived to avoid cost escalation along with relaxation in time for submission of documents. And some facilities such as Export Inspection Council, which provides certificates of origin, need to continue operations to avoid delays in exports. So now Camila will continue.
Next slide, please. Now I'm going to talk about measures that can be implemented by India in order to realize its full potential in trades. So first is targeting a few countries per product and meeting their specific standards, and sanitary and phytosanitary import requirements also needs attention. This can be done through a government industry standards task force. Second is enhance of meat, poultry, and fisheries sector. Trade facilitation by simplifying farm registration procedures for greater traceability and making antibiotic testing easier is required. Easy access to cold storage and warehousing facilities in marine or other food parks at concessionary rates would be also helpful. And the last one is world's pharmacy. India has been called the world's pharmacy because of the dominance and quality of its generic medicines. Its supply of drugs to fight COVID-19 to the US and Brazil was a welcome move as it strengthened the India brand as a reliable source of pharma products. So by saying that, I mean that India can enhance its potential in export by supplying its medicine products to other countries. That's all for our presentation.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay,
Thank you for understanding and helping.
You're welcome, you're welcome. Everything is good.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone who wants me to share the screen? Okay, who is next? Okay, who has not presented? Isa, Dil
No, Dilnaz.
Yes. Are you going to present alone?
Dilnaz, Alan. No, Dilnaz, Alan, Jamila.
Dilnaz, Alan, and
Jamila.
Jania. Okay.
No, Jamila.
Jamila. Okay, sorry.
Mhm.
Okay, here's the names. Okay, Jamila Kirey, Alan Ambayev. Okay, Dilnaz. Okay, good.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Dilnaz, and today we have a presentation about the library warning of Coalbase paves way for Amazon investment. Next slide. UK, first of all, I'm talk about UK competition. Watchdog provisionally backs Teach Giant's take after Korea firm warned it could go bust. UK competition authorities have provisionally cleared Amazon investment in Deliveroo after the takeaway delivery firm warned it could Coalbase because of the coronavirus crisis. The takeaway firm told the Competition and Market Authority it had suffered a significant decline in revenues since the government lockdown to limit the spread of the virus, closed many of the restaurants and dealt with nearly a month ago. Effort to the step up grocery deliveries with partners such as Marks, Spencer, and Morrisons have not offset the loss of trade from major restaurants, which put deliveries on hold during the lockdown, such as Burger King and KFC. Burger King and KFC reopened a handful of restaurants for delivery only this week. Deliveroo and its financial advisors told the CMA and the business would fail financially to exit the market unless Amazon went ahead with its investment. In December, the CMA launched this investigation into Amazon's investment in Deliveroo, which reportedly gave it a 60% stake. Amid concerns, it would limit competition in the takeaway and ultra-fast grocery delivery markets. It feared that customers, restaurants, and grocers could face higher prices and lower quality services because of the deal. But on Friday, the CMA said it had been considering new evidence about financial difficulties and Deliveroo as a matter of urgency and had provisionally concluded that Deliveroo exit from the market would be inevitable without access to significant additional funding, which the CMA considers that only Amazon would be willing and able to provide at this time. Okay, that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you too as well. Good effort. Thank you so much. Okay, who is next? What about Isa? Isa, are you here?
Yeah, Prof, I couldn't find the group, so I do not present today.
Do you know there will be no other time to present, Isa? You should have done it alone.
Oh, so that's it.
Okay, no problem. Anyone who wants to present? Okay, if there is nobody else who wants to present, Isa, at least submit the homework today to get some points, because I'm going to give some for presentation and some for homework you did it. Just submit it alone on your name on a paper base, write it down and send it to me. So not to lose any opportunity to get something from it. So apart from that, I would like to really thank you for this good effort and this really difficult time for us, for all of us, and wish you the health and be healthy, stay at home. Thank you so much for your contribution. And please feel free asking any questions related to the exam through the WhatsApp or through the email. You are welcome always. On Thursday, we're gonna have the exam, and make sure you have mobile and the computer. Those who have problem with the computer, please contact me. Already one person contacted me about the computer. And if there's somebody else who has a problem with the computer, just get in touch with me as soon as possible.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, if you don't have any question, you can leave the meeting. Thank you so much for your attention. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.